Well, hi, Mr. Anchondo. How's it going?
Hello, Peter. All right. So, what do we have here?
Nice little etude.
So you're playing 3 duets by Campbell, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, first things first. Before you came in here, please tell me you subbed your reed. Okay.
I did.
And let's check the placement of your reed. You know, we always have to remember that our reed is it can't be way too up here or way too down here, okay? Because you wanna make sure that all the air, and the reed is nice and stable there. That way it can vibrate and create a good sound. You do understand, like part of a good sound, it comes from like the placement of the reed, and we gotta make sure that we always pay attention on that. As long as you know, making sure that you have, for example, this knob right here, making sure that's nice and tight. Okay, make sure that this is not too loose. Okay, and all that stuff according to the saxophone. Now let's go over real quick about your posture, because I see like you're a tall dude. Okay, you want to make sure that because you're tall, you're not bringing your body to the instrument. Instead, you want to be sitting down. Just pretend I'm sitting down, and you want to bring the instrument to you. Instead of you doing this, you want to do this, right? And you want to bring the instrument to you and make sure that it's nice and relax. Okay, cool. Now, talking about posture, you can name a few things that we have discussed in previous lessons about posture.
Yeah, well, I remember I had the problem of being too slouched, and I remember you correcting me last time and being more relaxed and more straight, but not too stiff.
Yeah, not too stiff.
But,
Yeah. You got to remember that when you're sitting down, it's like, your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Your back is nice and straight. It's basically like, imagine like somebody's pulling, and all the center, all your balance, it's like right here in this middle area, and somebody's pulling up. You want to make sure you're nice and straight, okay? And even if you're playing standing up, like just like I'm doing right now, if you're playing standing up, you don't want to be doing this, right? You don't want to be doing this, because then your back is gonna hurt. You want to still be straight. My back nice and straight. And my shoulders relaxed. You can probably rest it a little bit here on the side, okay, if you want, okay. But making sure that your shoulders, everything's nice and straight. Your fingers, they're very nice and relaxed, because then as we progress in our lessons, I'm gonna give you material that it might require you to move your fingers a little bit faster. So you want to make sure that they're nice and relaxed. Okay. So now let's talk about your embouchure. Okay. So what are a few things that you want to say, are vital, or they have to be, always on point, when it becomes to embouchure, and making sure that we produce our best sound.
You're asking me?
Yeah. Okay. Like what are the best?
I think one of the main components is the bite. So having the teeth there, and then also making sure that the sides of my mouth are like completely sealed, and there's no air escaping from it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad that you're mentioning that, saying the word sealed, because that's the key word here, is that when you have your embouchure, and you're about to play, you have the side of your lips sealed, like completely sealed, just to make sure that nothing, like none of the air escapes through there. Because then if I'm playing, and let's say that I have this part of my mouth open, see how like the pitch actually went down, and it actually affected my pitch. So if I'm concentrating about my embouchure, You're gonna make sure that everything's nice and firm. Okay, not tight, because then what happens if you tighten up your bite too much?
You're gonna play too sharp.
Yeah, and why does that happen?
Because you're making a smaller hole with your embouchure.
Yeah, well, yeah, and part of it is because when you're playing your sorry, when you're playing and you have your aperture here, basically when you're playing, the reed is vibrating. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if you're too tight, you're not letting the reed vibrate. Right. So what happens is it's gonna affect your pitch. It's gonna affect your sound. Maybe it's gonna sound like too airy. Maybe it's gonna sound it's just not gonna come out the way we want it. Okay, mm-hmm. So we're gonna make sure that it's nice and relaxed, that it's nice and firm, but at the same time it's nice and relaxed, and making sure that we put a good sound out there and control sound. Okay, mm-hmm. So you already demonstrated what happens when you're not have your aperture. Okay, so talking about your embouchure, we already talked about this in the previous lessons. So why don't we go over and let's get straight into a little bit of playing here. Okay, you're a pretty good student, so I'm guessing you practice a little bit with long tones and stuff like that. But remember, we still have to go over those. Yeah. Okay? So we're just gonna go over a little bit of long tones. All right, and we're gonna be doing this exercise. This long tone exercise that you're gonna start soft, okay? First we're gonna do long tones and then we're gonna do the exercise. Okay. The exercise basically consists in starting soft, crescendoing for 4 counts, decrescendoing for 4 counts, and making sure that we can control that sound and we can control our air. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay. So make sure that you get a nice breath before you come in. Okay, that way you can support the sound. Okay, going up and down. Okay, when we go and do this exercise. But for now, we're just gonna do some long tones, and we're just gonna go ahead and play. I know this measures right here. 1, 2, 3 in the fourth system. 21 and 22, I think it is, or 20, 22 and 23. Mm-hmm. This measures right here, I know they're going to be a little bit challenging, mm-hmm. Okay, in terms of articulation, rhythm, maybe dynamic, since we have to be playing piano there, mm-hmm. So we have to control our air a little bit more. So we're just going to go over some long tones using these notes. Okay, that way when we come back, we already played those notes. Okay, so let's go over that, and we're gonna start with just playing this measure, but in long tones. Okay, just like whole notes. Right. Okay, so you're gonna start C 2 3 4, D 2 3 4, then E 2 3, so on and so forth. Okay, cool. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna go ahead and do that. Always practicing with the metronome, okay, to make sure that we keep our time honest. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's tune a little bit, okay, before we do anything else. So we're just gonna go and go ahead and play an F sharp, okay.
High or low sharp?
Let's do a low. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so you hear the waves there, maybe you're a little bit sharp in there, so maybe you want to pull in just a little bit. Okay, maybe what happened? Okay. Here we go. Let's try that one more time. Yeah. So you hear like there the waves, they went like we were a little bit closer. So that's much better. Okay, that's one thing that you always want to have your ears open, for intonation, and making sure that we're in tune. So, all right, cool. So let's just go over that. Like I said, let's just go over those long tones. Okay, and it's just gonna be going up this scale. Okay, and I don't want to talk about it yet. I just want to see what kind of A sharp you're using there. Okay, and for that, I'm just gonna go ahead and step here. Here we go. All right, 1, 2, ready, and. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, that was my bad. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Good. Yeah, just up to the beat. Okay. Give me like a good reason, or maybe just like like the question would be, why are you using this one right here?
The side, because you taught me that when there is a scalar passage, we should use the side finger.
Yeah. Okay. So look, this is a perfect example because how we mentioned before, we were talking about the side B flat or A sharp, okay, and then the biz B flat, right, which is this one right here. Okay, so I'm glad that you remember that, about the scalar passages, like for example this one. But what's after that? So we have it'll be just a B, right? So it's just a step, right? So imagine like that, instead of that B, you went down to a G. Then what will you use?
The biz.
Yeah, you can. That's at your discretion. Okay, that's at your discretion. Whatever's more comfortable for you. Okay.
Oh, since you have both like a scalar proceeding.
Yeah, since you're going up this scale, right, and then at the note that follows that, it's a skip, not a step. Okay. In this case, it's a step. It goes up to the B. So just for to be more comfortable and to make things easier, we're gonna use the side B flat or side A sharp. Okay, that's good. So that's a good judgment of you right there. Okay. Making sure that you're using the right fingerings, even though we have so many, but make sure that whatever works for us the best. Okay, cool. So let's keep playing. Now I want you to use just we're just gonna go ahead and play. You're just gonna do some long tones, the long tone exercise on F sharp and probably G. Okay? Or probably just F sharp. Just F sharp. Just F sharp. Yeah, just F sharp. And for that we're gonna do it in 4/4. Just going over the exercise, okay? Here we go. So starting soft, you have 4 counts going up, okay, in volume. So 4 counts crescendo, 4 counts decrescendo. Okay, pretty easy. Here we go. 1, 2, ready. Okay, yeah. So remember, like, you have to breathe before you come in. That way you can support that breath. Okay, even though we're starting soft, you want to and control the sound. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and. Pretty good. Now make sure that we're starting our attack. How do we start our attack?
With the tongue.
With the tongue, yeah. Always make sure that we're we start the attack with the tongue. Okay, and we're gonna talk about tonguing right now. Okay, much after this. Here we go. One more time. 1, 2, ready. Okay. 1, 2, ready. do it a little bit longer.
Okay.
So crescendo for 8 counts.
Okay.
Decrescendo for 8 counts. Making sure that we control those notes. Okay? 1, 2, ready, let's attack. Yeah, there you go. Very, very nice. Very nice. And this is an exercise that you have to be doing that at your own during your practice sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that do it for a longer period of time. So, 8 counts, then 12 counts, 16 counts, and so on and so forth. Making sure that you can control those long tones. Okay, making sure that you can control your air and everything. Okay. So now let's talk about tonguing. We're just gonna be doing an exercise about tonguing. You gotta think about tonguing as the air doesn't stop. Okay, we gotta think about that. The air never stops. We're just gonna be using our tongue. That's why it's called tonguing.
Right.
Because we're gonna be using our tongue. To re-articulate something. Okay. So for example, if you play 8th notes legato, you're playing. Right? Or you're playing. Right? When you're tonguing, you're actually, the air keeps moving, but you gotta think about your tongue just getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's kind of like when you open, when you open the sink. Mm-hmm. And the water's running, mm-hmm. Right? And you stick your tongue in there. Mm-hmm. The water keeps running, but now your tongue is your fingers there, but the water keeps right. Going. It never stops. Okay. Right? That's basically it. When it comes to tonguing, you gotta keep the air moving. But now your tongue is just gonna get right there in the middle. And where do we tongue on the reed?
On the reed, it had a little bit under the tip.
Yeah, you don't want to tongue right here in the middle, or right here in the very very part of the tip. Yeah. Because that's gonna make your sound. That's gonna affect your sound a lot. And part of that, let me just adjust my instrument. So these are different ways of tonguing. One is gonna be right here, right where the in this little the tone hole, mm-hmm. The tone hole. You see that? Mm-hmm. Also your embouchure might change a little bit. So you don't want to make sure that you're going part right here, this area right here on the reed, mm-hmm. Making sure that you're not affecting your sound too much, and just keeping the air going. So this is the air going. It's really hard to demonstrate this because you can't see what's happening in inside of my mouth. Mm-hmm. But basically, I'm just going and saying the word ta 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 ta. Mm-hmm. Okay, long tones or legato da 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 da, mm-hmm. Da. Okay, but you want to use ta. Okay, so you want to make sure that you use that when you're tonguing. Okay, so just make sure you keep on, having that image of the water running down. You just when you stick your finger, nothing happens, nothing stops. It keeps moving, but now there's something in the way, basically. Okay, cool. So let's do a little bit of that exercise. We're just gonna do eight quarter notes, da da da, on an F sharp, and then eighth notes, da 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 da, 2, 3, 4, off. Okay, we're just gonna do that exercise real quick. Here we go. We're gonna do that a little bit faster. 1, 2, ready, F sharp. Yeah, and just hold it. So after the eighth note, just hold it. 1, 2, and ready, last time. Yeah. So yeah, make sure that you hear like how you were playing da da da. You know, you want to keep moving da 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 da. Okay. Because now you're cutting the duration of the quarter note shorter. Okay. Right here. 1, 2, and ready, and I play. Yeah. So you hear like how the first time it was like kind of like legato, like da da da.
Yeah.
Here you go. Play with me. 1, 2, 3. Again, 2, last time. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, that was it. That was it. So I want you to work on that. Okay.
Okay.
I want you to work on that because that actually comes the tongue and the slur and all that stuff. That's part of your solo. Okay, so I need you to work on that. Cool. So now let's just I want you to play. Let's just get into it, and let me hear what you have done, and let's see how where if we encounter any problems here and how we can make it better. Cool. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna start from the very top. Okay. Any tempo in specific that you're taking this?
Probably like 70 maybe.
Okay, that's 70 right there. 1, 2. Yeah, that feels good. Maybe a little bit. Let's go 65. How about
that?
1, 2, or actually whenever you're ready. Pretty good. Yeah, I like your dynamics here. They're very, very nice. You start. I think at the beginning you can start a little bit softer. Okay, that piano. And make sure that it actually sounds like piano. Okay, that was like a little bit forte or mezzo piano in there. It's like. So make sure that it starts. That you grab the audience attention. By starting very soft. And bringing those 3 notes. Alive. All articulation, yeah, that's some problems here and there, but overall it was really good. Okay, the articulation. However, at the very end, okay, this measure right here, you want to make sure that you take that breath. You see that breath mark right here?
Yeah.
Okay, that breath mark is gonna save your life for the rest of the etude. Okay, because you kind of run out of breath right here going on the low F when you were going. Okay, those low notes, they were you were having struggling a little bit on getting those notes out. So make sure that you bring those out. Okay. All right, cool. Let's do this. The very last 1, 2, 3. The last 6 measures. Okay, the very last 6 measures. Okay.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. There we go. Yeah, it's just not nice, the crescendo there. Yeah, very, very nice. That was already much better. Okay, but since all of this is going on, okay, and you forget to take a breath there, and you play all of this, without taking a breath. Once you get to this half notes, you're gonna run out of breath. Are you gonna run out of breath? Sorry, there, because they're a little bit longer notes. So you have to sustain a little bit more. You have to control a little bit more. Therefore, you have to take that breath, to support all of that going on there. So let's just start. Let's just start right here in this measure. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Yeah, let's just do that. So just a measure. 2, 3. Yeah. So yeah, just make sure the palm here, make sure that you're still nice and relaxed. Okay. Making sure, we talk about palm keys, just making sure that the first 2 you play with your index, the third one you play with your middle finger. All right. So this one is going to be played with pretty much like this part of your hand. Okay, this right here. Okay, so this shouldn't, once you play this, okay, you shouldn't have a problem of going to the C, so just letting it go. Okay, and then after that, we have, the B. Okay, so it's just D, C, B, D, C, B, and making sure that you still have this in position so that when you go from D to C, this is already prepared for B. Okay, so let's just go and do that measure. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, pretty good. So now, like, I'm noticing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so just make sure that you keep those right here handy, so that when you come back, to get that B, you don't have to work extra. And just go there. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Again. 1, 2. Sorry. Yeah, and you're probably doing something there. Yeah, there I hear that you're going. You're kind of going like this. Okay. You don't want to change anything when you go into the register key notes. When you're using the register key, okay. You don't wanna change anything in the amateur. You don't want to change anything. Okay. It's just the register key. So if you're going. Okay. Cool. There you go. 1.
What are we doing?
2. Oh, sorry. Same thing. Same measure. 2, 3.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
1, 2. Don't change the. Sorry, that was my bad. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Yeah, and try to get a little bit more mouthpiece into your mouth. There you go. There you go. That's coming out a little bit better. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just go from B. Okay, you're gonna go B, C, D. Yeah, that's much better. So that's something, an exercise that you, because I see you struggling getting this note right here, which is a very high note, okay? But, just practice that, getting to that note, okay? If for some reason, that note is not coming up easy, just all of a sudden, just practice going from B, C, D, starting 2 notes down, okay? And you just played it right now.
Yeah.
So you can play it, so you can play. So it's just getting to that note, and basically that's what you're doing over here, going from the C, so I'm sorry, B to the D. All that stuff. So making sure that you practice those, very nice and slow. Okay, that way, like, you feel comfortable with the fingerings and making sure that these notes come out. Okay. So let's just go over that real quick. All right. So just trying to get out the D. Okay. 1. Okay. And what A sharp are we using there?
A sharp side.
Side? Okay, cool. Pretty good. Cool. Last time. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Very, very nice. Very nice. Cool. Now let's do just this system right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5 measures and the downbeat of this 6th one right there. Okay. So just to the downbeat of the last system. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sorry. Cool. So from there, I want you to practice the how are we gonna attack this? Okay, that's my question to you. Now, how are we gonna attack this? Making sure that you get all the notes and the fingerings and all that stuff. How are you gonna do that?
Taking it slower.
Yeah, taking it slower. Taking it slower, definitely. Making sure because one, and this is just my opinion, but I think 1 rep slower equals like 10 reps at tempo.
Yeah.
So if you're practicing at tempo and you just can't get it, you're gonna play it 10 times. Maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. If you practice slow, you give time to your brain to to think, okay, what's coming up next, and all that stuff. So let's just do that. Just this measure right here. So starting on this long note, and while you're holding that, don't just look at here. Look what's coming up. Okay. That way it doesn't take you by surprise. And here you go. 1, 2, be breath.
Sorry.
Let's do. Sorry. Let's just do. Just this measure. I'll give you 1. Ba 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 C sharp. Okay. 1, 2, 1. There we go again. 1, 2, 1. 1. There we go. Same thing. I'll give you 1. 1, 2, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, so now let's try it tempo. See how that comes out. Okay, starting on this measure, right? 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, sorry. Sorry, not this long. Right. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And there it is. Okay. So you're gonna do the same thing for these two measures. Okay. So you just have to learn that. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay. Going note by note, really slow, and then speeding it up, just like we did right now. It took us less than 5 minutes, or less than 2 minutes actually. Okay. So you can do that process for these two measures, and you're gonna be done with your solo pretty much, because you don't have any problems here except for that F sharp and D, low F sharp and low D. Okay, just making sure that you work on those. You know, maybe you can do the long tones on those, just like we did today. Okay, with the long tones on F, and then just going to D. Just working on those, going back and forth, so make sure that you get those. Okay, that can help you out, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so just to wrap up our lesson, okay, we said that we're gonna work on articulation. Okay, making sure that we use our tongue properly. Okay, and we're gonna use that long tone exercise that we did today, the crescendo and decrescendo. Okay, like I said, start with 4 counts, decrescendo 4 counts, and then make it longer. Crescendo for A, decrescendo for A. All right, and then 12, 12, 16, 16 maybe. But I will do just for our next lesson, I will do 4 and then 8. Okay, don't go anything past that. Just for the next lesson, and then just have these 2 measures ready for me next lesson at a very comfortable tempo with the right fingerings. Again, using the process that we just did. Okay, going slow, making sure that we comprehend and we understand everything, as far as fingering, articulation, and everything goes. Okay, all right.
Sounds good.
All right, so I'll see you next week, Peter.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, sir. Thank you.